Man, what a beautiful day. Vancouver, BC is so funny here in the Pacific Northwest. And so 2 weeks ago, this whole thing was under snow. No ice, because apparently just the lake never freezes. But it was like buried in snow. So every time I film here, I have to apologize because the Abbotsford Airport is just behind me here to the south, and there's a lot of classes here, especially on nice weather day like this. Nice weather is when I tend to come out to dive, and of course nice weather, they've got a lot of training flights happening, so the planes and helicopters that do laps around this lake. So here we are back at Albert Dick Lake, Molson Lake, whatever you want to call it. The locals call it Molson Lake, but I'm going to go out. There's always some tires and garbage and stuff in here, so I'm going to go out and see what I can find. And I did lose my lift bag. I'm sorry to admit. I did lose because I was scootering last time along this path here, and unbeknownst to me, because my lift bag was actually dragging behind me, and I went back to reach for it, and it was gone. So I lost it somewhere in the water, somewhere between 30 to 50 feet of water. It's between here and there. I'll go see what I can find. All right, let's get in the water. It's really pretty out here, but brisk, cold. All right, see you guys after the dive. So before we get started with the narration of this dive, I have a quick question for you guys. So I think I've figured out that you guys really enjoy the voiceover, me explaining the dives, what I'm doing, versus just music alone. But when I'm doing these voiceovers, would you like to hear just the sound of the bubbles behind, or would you like the generic standard sort of fun background music that that YouTube has? It's free for me to download from the YouTube Creators Library, so it doesn't really add to any cost. Or I could just do voice over the bubbles. Please comment below and let me know. So here we go at the beginning of the dive. You can see the visibility is, man, it's just absolutely stunning. And right here to my right-hand side, there's a big tire. I noticed, I've seen this tire before, and it has a rim in it. And the problem with this particular tire, first of all, it's not a standard car tire. It's actually like one of the rock quarry equipment tires, and it has a rim in it, and it's incredibly heavy. And every time I've run into it, I've actually run into it at the start of my dive, and I wanted to go and perform the dive itself. So again, I left it, like one of these days when I encounter that wheel and tire on the exit point of my dive, I will go get it. But I know where it is, and just one of those things, trying to choose what's more effective. As you can see here, I've despite the fact that I have great visibility, I instantly mess it up when I start to pick up these cans. So here's the first tire. You can tell the difference between this tire and the last wheel that I saw. It's just obviously is a car tire, like a passenger vehicle tire, versus that industrial giant sidewall. That thing has got to be pushing like closer to like 80 to 100 pounds, plus the weight of the steel rim. So that's going to suck trying to get that one out. All right, and so what's happening here is like this tire was completely lodged into the silt, so I had to actually shake it a bunch of times. You can see here, and I'm trying to basically wiggle it out of the silt, and when I did that, it caused this massive silt cloud, and I can't see what I'm doing. So there's a ridge line right next to where this tire was, so I basically bunny hopped this tire to the top of the ridge where the visibility was much, much clearer, and I also know that the top of the ridge has less silt on it. So I was able to work on that tire as I got it to the top of the ridge, and you can see here's the next ridge line. I don't think this is the same one. I think this is the next one. And here, and this is like I think it was a metal plate on the ground there. And this is my favorite part of my entire dive. I found the lift bag that I dropped the last time I was in the lake. I think you guys can appreciate when I'm looking for a lost item that I don't know where I lost in the lake. Like I knew roughly where it was, in the sense of last time I was here, I dropped it in this path. But the problem is, the last time I was here, the water was 12 feet lower than what it is now. And I thought I dropped it around 30 feet of water, 40 feet of water. And as it turned out, I dropped this. So right now this bag is actually located in 51 feet of water. And I think you guys can appreciate when I'm diving, looking for an item that I don't know where it is. I don't actually know where I am in the water. Like I know I'm in the lake, and I know that the direction compass bearing that I'm going on, and I know that the bank of the lake is on my right shoulder. But like honestly, it was really a crapshoot to be able to find this bag. And honestly, when I found it, I was just like, what a stroke of luck. And it wasn't even a matter of me being able to see it way off in the distance. I literally just ran into it, as you see. Anyway, back to the garbage. So I'm picking up some beer cans, some golf balls, some Solo cups, and I've got the tire. You can see here, my found lift bag is just simply clipped off to my whole setup here, and got the tire on there. So when I saw this leash here, I thought it was a dog leash, and I hate find dog leashes that are just buried in the silt, because I always think there's a dog attached to it or something. So anytime that I see like a collection of beer cans, I tend to put my bag down, and then I go, instead of swimming around with my trash collection bag, which will cause more of a silt out, I tend to leave it sitting in one spot, and then I go around to the different areas and collect the garbage, like the beer cans. You can see here my collection bag is off the distance. Of course, the problem with that is sometimes I'll lose track of it because I'm causing so much silt out around me that that I can't find my bag. That's happened lots to me before, where I'm going around in a very flat bottom lake, and I have no idea where my bag is. So doing circles and circles and circles. Here we go, a boat paddle. I'm always curious to know what happens when somebody loses their boat paddle when they're way out in the distance, nowhere near a shoreline. So you can tell, anytime we find similar cans, like in this case here, the hay yawl. So this is just somebody floating and drinking and just throwing their stuff overboard from their floaty. I found as many as 6, I think it was like Budweiser cans or something, in one spot before. So you can see here these ridge lines underneath the water here. It's really interesting. This is an abandoned rock quarry, and it's really interesting. I don't know what is the purpose of these ridge lines, but they're everywhere. And just sort of through these valleys, there's ridge lines and valleys, and the heavy silt is inside the trough of the valley, and then the top of the ridge is much more solid and collects way less silt. So this here is I'm actually exiting the dive right now. I'm probably about 15 feet of water, and man, you can see here I'm actually swimming horizontal. This camera is not tilted right now, and you can see how steep that drop off is. It's probably approaching like 45 degrees, maybe even a little bit greater. So what I've done here is I've just left my bag at 15 feet, and I scooted, because I got to do my 3-minute safety stop anyway. So I scooted to the right and scooted to the left to see if I find any garbage, and I didn't. And what I'm doing here is just putting a little bit of air into my lift bag so I can actually just send the whole thing to the surface, and basically just dragged it to my exit point. When I came out of the water, I was so happy that I was basically within about 10 feet of where I intended to be. So you can see there the shoreline, the boat ramp, and the tires. That's where I enter the water, and I'm about maybe 10, 12 feet away from it. Oh, non-stop helicopters overhead. That's been circling since I got out of the water. Anyway, I'm super happy. As you can see in the video, I ran straight into my my lift bag that I lost the last time. Hi guys. But so I'm going to show you in a second here, but I got to get out of my suit. There's a leak in my crotch of my dry suit. My crotch is soaking wet and cold. So the highest point of failure of dry suits, it's in the crotch area, because it's the one spot that has the most wear and tear. Like if you think of like the crotch of your jeans, like because your legs are kind of going back and forth, it's like the point where it has the most amount of stress load. So and the way my scooter works is that it hooks onto the waist belt, and then I have a crotch strap that goes underneath so that when I'm getting pulled by my scooter, it actually pulls my entire body versus just pulling my upper harness, and it would just rip my harness right off of me. And because of the crotch strap that I'm sitting on, so imagine like a rock climbing harness, but like a single strap right up my crotch, and it has a lot of stress load. So about 3/4 way through my dive, all of a sudden I could just feel water coming in. It's like, oh man, that sucks. Okay, let me get out of this and let me show you what I got out. So that's 19 pounds. I always try to drain the water out of these things as best as I can, so don't get too much false weight. Try to be as accurate as I can. 19 and a half and 7 pounds. I didn't get very far. Hang on, let me write this down before I forget. 19 and a half plus 7, that's 26 and a half pounds total. I didn't get very far because once I picked up the tire, there's so much drag that even with the scooter, I don't go very fast. So anyway, I was, I think I only made it about a couple, like 300 feet or so, 100 meters that way. And once I found my lift bag, so this is my lift bag. This is the one that Otto lent me. I've been using his, and this is mine. And you can see just from a tiny bit of tannic staining, but my lift bag is so old and beat up anyway. It used to say Henry on it, but it's worn off. I know it's mine because that's the one that lost it in there. That is so awesome. I'm so happy. Okay, let's lay some stuff out here and see what we got. A little bit of stuff. I mean, not crazy amount because I'm by myself, but still happy to get this out of the water. So, let's see. No faux beers this time. You think this fell off of a, I mean, it just doesn't look like it's been down there forever, but don't think it's off a boat or anything. Let's see, get some beer cans. I was wondering, oh, that's the inner sleeve of a Pringles can. I was wondering what that was actually. Just looks like some kind of leash. Let's see. Golf ball, tennis ball, dog chew toy thing. 15, 20, 23 beer cans. All right, let's have a look here. So I've got tire, 2 bottles, 23 beer cans, the Pringles sleeve, sunglasses, swim goggles, some kind of strap for, I wonder if the water ski guys lost that. Golf balls, dog toy, cups, hose, radiator hose, I guess, 1 paddle. Oh man, that was a little bit chilly with the soaking wet crotch, but that's okay. All right, I'm hoping the volume worked out okay for you guys on this video. I'm kind of learning as I go. I did a whole bunch of tests and I think I've got it dialed. Fingers crossed that's okay. And man, what a beautiful little spot to come diving for the day. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for my Patreon supporters. And another 26 pounds out of garbage out of Albert Dick Lake. We'll see you guys in the next one.